Because how many times do we approach somebody and we just kind of leave it up to chance to connect? This process is going to give you a structure so that you can follow it, a recipe. And this is going to be the end result. If you were making chocolate cake, you would know in your mind, hey, I'm making chocolate cake today. You know, what's the recipe? And then eventually you got chocolate cake. All right, it's no different. It's no different. There's a structure to everything. So what are some ways? If I said, all right, you guys, get out of here, go find somebody and build rapport with them. Introduce yourself. Yes.
Find out who they are.
Exactly. So let's stay right there. So the first thing is introduction, right? Mindy, do you want to play with me for a second?
Okay.
We're just going to practice an introduction.
Okay.
All right, you ready? Hi, I'm George.
Hi, George. I'm Mindy.
Mindy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Done. That's it. That's an introduction. Easy enough, right? Absolutely. And in that introduction, how much information is being passed back and forth? Tons, right? Tons. Anybody ever meet somebody get a bad vibe from them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Anybody ever meet somebody get a good vibe from them? Yeah. So it's like, if you think about how buildings are built, you see one of those skyscrapers, they get a lay of the land, right? They make it flat, they dig a hole in there, they entrench a hole so that they can put the structure in. Well, that introduction is really just the lay of the land in that hole so that they can begin to build the structure. Okay, just think of it that way as we move on. Have you ever met somebody and had a quick interaction with them? It was just really nice, but you kind of left it up to chance to meet again, and you saw them maybe a week later and they remembered your name? You ever have that experience? I mean, how quickly do they have rapport with you? Automatically, they're in love with you. Oh, you remember, come here, give me a hug, you know? And there's that instant connection because, hey, they remember my name, they care about me. Commonality. Guys, this is what we're looking for. This is the steel structure, the integrity of the rapport process. That's what we're looking for, something in common. You see, guys, we go into interactions just, hoping or just leaving it up to chance. But what we're doing, and now this is in your conscious awareness, all we're trying to do is find something in common. Because it's not safe to talk to who?
Strangers.
But if you have something in common, they're not strangers anymore, right? So commonality, commonality, commonality. It is the integrity of the rapport building process, all right? And we're always looking for it, but we typically don't know consciously that that's what we're trying to do. Questions are powerful. Questions are so powerful. I mean, they can ignite good feelings in people. They can ignite bad feelings in people. They can open up people to new ways of thinking. What is the one thing that people love to talk about more than anything else? Themselves. Themselves. So what do you think might happen after you find a commonality, then you start asking them questions about themselves? What's that going to do to them? Going to open up even more, right? So that's the idea. Find the commonality, build the integrity, and then let's begin to build on it with questions. All right? This can ignite rapport to a whole new level if you're genuine about it. If you're genuine and give somebody a compliment, doesn't that feel good? When was the last time, does anybody have a specific time they were complimented and they knew the other person was genuine? Can you think of a specific time? So, for example, if I were looking at Heather and I wanted to find something to compliment her on sincerely, I would say, Heather, I love the way your hair looks today. It's got very nice little swirls and whatnot in it. How long did it take you to do it?
5 minutes.
But I just woke up like this.
Yeah.
We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? I always love that one. I always love that. I think it's such a gift that we can give people just by listening intently. If somebody's saying something they're passionate about, and you just are there, present with them, I mean, almost like giving a compliment, it's a huge gift. Everybody from their perspective is right. Everybody from their perspective is right. And in that understanding, there's really no need to argue or conflict. But you're just letting them know, whether they know it or not, listen, I appreciate your perspective. And you don't have to agree with them. But it just discharges whatever argument or need to be right that they have. Because you can see their perspective. And again, you don't agree with them. You don't have to. Does that make sense? This is just a way to just let them be right, and just say, hey, you're right. I can see your perspective. I appreciate that. Without feeling beat, without feeling like you lost something because you didn't lose. You just get. I mean, you're conversationally more evolved, you can say, in that moment than the other person. I'm with a friend, went out and got a beer, so I grabbed a beer and I said, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try this matching a mirror thing, because they had said it was just profound. So anyway, I had my beer and I just found somebody. I said, okay, him, I'm gonna match and mirror him. So I sat there, every move he made, I did, just kind of watching him. Everything he did, he took a drink, I take a drink. You know, he shift his posture, I shift my posture. You know, anything he did, I took a drink. Did that for about 5 minutes, you know, expecting some magic to happen, like him floating over to me or something. About 5 minutes later, he came up to me and said, "Excuse me, do I know you?" And I was just amazed. I was just absolutely amazed. Here's why, and this is where the whole workshop gets extremely fascinating. We don't see with our eyes. We don't see with our eyes. So out here, we can't see anything if light isn't being reflected off of it. So as that light reflects off the wall and bounces into my eyes, it hits to the back of the eye, the retina. Retina then turns it into electrical signals to the optic nerve, to the back of the brain called the visual cortex. And our brain is interpreting what's out here. So we like people like who?
Like ourselves.
Like ourselves. So if I'm sitting here chatting with Heather, you know, we've got the same posture going on, and her eyes aren't seeing me. What's seeing me? Her brain is, right? Her mind is. And so in her mind, she's thinking, oh, a friend. He's like me.